My dad said I'd be nothing without him. Now he's begging me for a job at the company I built from scratch, and my family is pushing me to say yes. But I'm planning some payback. I haven't told anyone in my real life what I'm about to do. Not my girlfriend, not my business partner, not even my therapist. But I'm posting here because I need to get this off my chest before I actually follow through with it. And yeah, I know it's petty, I know, but I also don't care anymore. My dad used to say I'd never make it without him, like constantly. Growing up, that was his favorite line, "You're nothing without me." Or sometimes it was, "Let's see how far you get when you're out there on your own." He said it when I told him I didn't want to take over the family business. He said it when I moved out. He said it when I turned down a job he lined up as a favor to one of his golf buddies, a job I never even applied for. When I started my own company at 26, he told me I was being stupid, said I had no idea how the real world worked, said I'd come crawling back in a year. When I hit my first 6 figures in revenue, he said it was beginner's luck. When I bought my first office space, he said it was a bad investment. At family dinners, he'd mock me in front of everyone. "Oh look, the CEO showed up. How's that little hobby project going? Still pretending to be in tech, huh?" And nobody said a thing. My mom would just smile awkwardly. My sister would sip her wine and change the subject. No one ever called him out, because that's just how Dad is. I stopped going to family events eventually. I pulled back from everyone. It wasn't worth the stress, but I kept building. Fast forward to now. I'm 32. My company is doing extremely well. Not bragging, just being honest. We're past 50 employees, profitable, and we just closed a deal that's going to put us on a different level. I've got an actual office downtown, real clients, a team I care about. And guess who showed up last week? My dad. At my office, unannounced. Security had to call me to let him in. I almost told them to turn him away, but curiosity got the better of me. He looked rough, like aging in dog years rough. Gray, tired, wearing a suit that used to scream money but now just looked sad. He said, and I quote, "I could really use some help. Things haven't been great lately. I figured maybe you had something at your company. Consulting, part-time, doesn't have to be fancy." Like we hadn't gone 5 years barely speaking. Like he hadn't spent my entire adult life trying to convince me I was a failure. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no either. I told him I'd think about it and walked him out. He actually tried to hug me before he left. I dodged it. And now my phone won't stop blowing up. My mom texted me that I shouldn't hold grudges. My sister said he's swallowing his pride. That has to count for something. My aunt emailed me a Bible verse. Not kidding. Suddenly, everyone wants me to be the bigger person. Suddenly, I'm the bad guy if I don't bail out the man who never once believed in me. And here's the part I haven't said out loud. I'm considering giving him a job, but not to help him. I want to give him just enough rope to see what real work looks like. Make him sit through meetings where he doesn't understand half the words. Let him get performance reviews from someone younger than me. Make him earn every dollar. Maybe that makes me an asshole. Maybe I'm finally just done being the one who takes the high road while he coasts on ego and history. Or maybe I'm just done pretending I owe him anything. I don't know if I'll actually do it, but if I do, I'm not telling anyone. No big gotcha moment. No revenge speech. Just a slow, professional chokehold. Thoughts? Edit. Adding some context because people are asking. Since a few people are saying I sound bitter or should just talk it out with my dad, let me be super clear. This wasn't a one-time he didn't believe in me situation. He made it his full-time hobby to make sure I never believed in myself. He wasn't physically abusive, if that's what you're assuming. He didn't scream. He didn't break things. He just chipped away. Every day. He was one of those dads who thought tough love meant constantly putting you down so you'd build resilience. Growing up, nothing I did was good enough. I'd show him my report card, straight A's, and he'd go, "Well, let's see if you can keep that up. Won a regional science fair? That's great, but you're not exactly Einstein. Got into college on a partial scholarship? Should have been a full one if you worked harder." He loved using money as a leash, would offer help with strings attached, then hold it over my head for years. When I got my first apartment, he dropped off an old couch and wouldn't shut up about it for 3 Thanksgivings straight. Told relatives I was still depending on daddy, even though I paid rent out of pocket. If I ever pushed back, he'd play dumb. act like I was being sensitive, accuse me of twisting his words. He also loved showing off to his friends at my expense. This one wants to be an entrepreneur. God help him. He's got big ideas. No clue how taxes work though. I told him to come work for me. He thinks he's too good. And when things started to go well for me, that's when he got worse. He hated not being the smartest person in the room. Hated that people were congratulating me instead of him. One time, he introduced me to someone at a wedding by saying, "This is my son. He runs some kind of internet thing. Not real work, but it keeps him busy." He'd never ask questions about my business, never showed interest, but he'd send me articles about why most startups fail, like he was doing me a favor. And yeah, I've heard all the excuses. That's just how dads are. He probably meant well. Maybe he just didn't know how to show it. I don't care. He had decades to figure it out. He made me feel like nothing for years. And now that he needs something, he shows up in a wrinkled suit with his hat in his hands, acting like none of it happened. Like, I'm just supposed to pretend we're fine now because he finally realized I have something he wants. Nah, not happening. Update 1. 2 days after my dad showed up at my office, I got a text from my mom that just said, "Family dinner, Sunday, please come." No question mark, just a soft command. I already knew what it was about. I hadn't even told her he came by, so clearly he'd gone running to her. Probably said something like, "I reached out but he shut me down." Still, I went. Not because I owed them anything, but because I needed to see just how deep this family guilt campaign was going to go. He was already there when I arrived, sitting at the table, wearing a different suit, same defeated look. He stood up like he thought I'd hug him. I didn't. I walked past him and said hi to my mom, who immediately hit me with a guilt smile and, "We're just happy you came." Dinner was awkward as hell, like everyone had been coached. My sister was overcompensating, way too cheerful, asking me about work like she actually cared. My mom kept trying to shift the conversation to family memories. Dad didn't say much. Then, halfway through the meal, he clears his throat and says, "I meant what I said the other day. I'm looking for something steady. Doesn't have to be big, just somewhere I can put my experience to use." Then, to everyone else at the table, "He's got a real business now. Something he built on his own. I respect that." I almost laughed. He respects it now? After all the shit he talked? After the years of mockery, passive digs, and constant reminders that I was nothing without his help? So I nodded and said, "We're hiring for entry-level ops. Not much money, lots of admin work. You interested?" Dead silence. My sister stared at her plate. My mom gave me the be nice eyes. And my dad? He tried to chuckle it off. I was thinking more like consulting. Maybe senior advisory. I've got 30 years of experience. I'm sure I can help steer the ship. I didn't respond right away, just kept eating, then said, "We don't really have a need for that, but if something opens up, I'll let you know." He didn't say much after that. Here's the thing. I'm not trying to be cruel for no reason, but this man spent my whole life dragging me down, and now I'm supposed to hand him a role with authority? Let him waltz into my company and start throwing his outdated ideas around like he's some savior? Nah, he wanted to see what it's like on the inside. I'll give him that. But not in the way he expects. That night I called my COO, one of my best friends from college. I told him everything, no sugarcoating, every insult, every comment, every time my dad tried to derail me. He paused and said, "You want to hire him just to humble him?" I said, "I want him to clock in, sit in onboarding, take orders from someone younger. I want him to live in the exact space he said I'd fail in." My COO just said, "Then let's set the trap properly. So here's the plan. We're going to interview him, make it look real, then bring him in as a glorified admin. No authority, no influence, no special treatment. Assign him to one of our younger managers who doesn't know or care about family dynamics. Give him normal tasks, paperwork, internal documents, meeting notes. Let him live the life he mocked for years. Let him sit in a tiny office with a shared printer and zero control. Let him realize no one's impressed by his outdated wisdom or his golf metaphors. Let him feel how heavy the grind is. Let him understand what it feels like to build something from scratch without anyone helping you, and then be told it's still not enough. I'm not going to scream at him, not going to throw anything in his face. I want the silence to do the work. If he walks out after a week, good. If he stays longer, even better. Update 2. We scheduled his interview for the following Wednesday. I didn't even handle it myself. I had our people ops lead, Megan, run it. She's in her late 20s, sharp as hell, and absolutely no nonsense. I didn't tell her the whole backstory, just enough. He's my father. Treat it like a real interview, no special favors. Her face didn't move. Got it. He showed up early, wore a suit, tie, shiny cufflinks, brought a printed resume that listed his old company, the one he ran into the ground, as executive advisor. Under skills, he put strategic vision, leadership, and team morale. Team morale. Ironic. Megan sat him down in the smallest conference room we have, windowless, fluorescent lights. She told me later he kept trying to steer the conversation back to high-level opportunities, and she kept steering it back to the actual role, internal operations support. She said he didn't ask a single question about the company, didn't ask about the culture, the goals, the workflow, nothing. Just said things like, "I'm sure you'll find I bring a lot to the table. I've managed million-dollar portfolios. I know how to turn teams around." The interview lasted 31 minutes. She came to my office afterward and said, "If this were a real candidate, I wouldn't even move him to the next round." I just nodded. Offer him the role anyway. Base salary, no perks, no flexibility. She raised an eyebrow. "You sure?" "Very." We sent the offer letter that night. He accepted the next morning. No negotiation. Just a quick reply and a signature on DocuSign. His start date, the following Monday. We onboard new hires in batches, so I made sure he'd be part of a small group, 3 others, all in their mid to late 20s. One of them was hired for the exact same role. I looped in HR and made it clear, no special treatment. Don't even tell the team he's related to me. Monday morning, he walked through the front door like a man expecting applause. He got a lanyard, a welcome packet, an office tour led by an intern. I watched the whole thing on the security camera feed from my office. By noon, he was sitting at a shared desk near the printer. His email was set up. His calendar was empty. His direct manager? A woman named Tara, 26, smart, efficient, not afraid to give feedback. Doesn't know who he is to me, and wouldn't care if she did. She was told he was new to ops and needed close support the first few weeks. She didn't blink. He spent that first day shadowing her on onboarding processes, learning how to file internal expense forms, how we track project updates in Notion, how to label Slack threads properly. I made sure she didn't skip anything. If we were going to do this, he was going to learn everything from scratch, just like I did. No shortcuts. Day 2, he sat through a training on our internal ticketing system. Day 3, he was assigned to take meeting notes and send out recaps. I got a copy of his first write-up. It was fine, basic. He clearly didn't understand the context of most of what was said, but he formatted it cleanly. So I sent him back a Slack message from a dummy account we use for admin feedback. "Thanks for the notes. Let's work on tightening the summaries next time. More bullet points, less commentary." I saw his Slack status change to away 10 minutes later, came back 20 minutes after that, probably needed a walk. He made it through the first week. Quiet, polite, a little stiff. No one seemed to mind him, but no one needed him either. Exactly where I wanted him. Week 2, we assigned him to a more demanding project, internal documentation for a systems rollout. Basically, he had to collect info from different teams and format it into one central hub. Annoying work, requires attention to detail, zero glamour. He asked to speak to me on day 3 of that week. I agreed. He sat down in my office. Very different energy this time, less confident, less smug. He said, "I'm wondering if there's something more aligned with my experience. I feel like I could be more useful at a strategic level." I didn't look up from my laptop, just said, "You're still new. Right now we need you where you are. Prove yourself there first." He nodded, quiet for a few seconds, then said, "I get it, just wasn't expecting this kind of role." And there it was. Wasn't expecting this. Wasn't expecting to have to prove himself, to be supervised, to be invisible. Wasn't expecting to be treated like any other hire. But that's exactly what this is. I'm not humiliating him. I'm not cursing him out or calling up old insults. I'm just letting him sit with the reality that I built something real, and that in this world, he's a rookie. He's never apologized, never acknowledged what he said over the years, and I'm not pushing for that either. I'm just giving him a front row seat to what he said would never happen. Let's see how long he lasts. Update 3. It didn't take long for the performance issues to show up. Week 3, his first real deadline gets missed. He was supposed to compile a workflow doc from 3 departments and get it uploaded to our internal wiki by Friday noon. Friday comes, no doc. Tara pings him. No reply for 2 hours. When she finally gets a response, he says he didn't realize he was the one responsible for uploading. Thought someone else on the team would handle it. She forwards me the chat transcript. I don't even have to ask. Her message just says, "Let me know how direct you want me to be moving forward." I reply, hold him to the same standard as anyone else. Nothing more, nothing less. Monday morning, she gives him a formal task follow-up with a due date and a friendly reminder about expectations. His reply? Understood. Still getting used to the pace here. Funny how the pace is suddenly the problem. This is the man who told me, the real world's not going to wait for you to figure it out. The man who used to say I'd never handle a 9 to 5 because I was too soft. Now he's winded from filing meeting notes and getting CC'd on too many Slack threads. By the end of the week, I get an email from HR. Subject, concerns raised, department fit, professional tone. I open it. Apparently, one of his team members submitted a quiet complaint about him talking down during internal meetings, said he corrected their language in a doc and said something like, "That's not how we did it in the real business world." Real business world, right. The same real world that ended with him burned out, broke, and begging for work at his son's company. I tell HR we'll address it through standard feedback, no need for formal escalation, but I make sure he gets flagged for quarterly performance review, early. Meanwhile, the rest of the company's catching on. They don't know he's my dad. I still haven't told anyone who doesn't need to know, but they've noticed his vibe. He doesn't contribute much in team discussions, doesn't ask questions, acts like he's too experienced for the role, but isn't delivering like someone who actually is. People are polite, no one's gunning for him, but I can tell he feels the shift. And here's where it gets interesting. He starts trying to reconnect. To me, Slack DMS, short, casual. How's your week been? Saw the new client win. Congrats. Lunch sometime soon? I don't reply, not to be cold, but because I want him to feel it. The weight of silence, the absence of approval, the same things he weaponized on me for years. I let him sit with it for 5 full work days. Then I reply, sure, let's do Thursday. We meet at the cafe down the block, neutral turf. I get there first. He walks in wearing the same damn blazer he wore the day he showed up at my office asking for a job. We order, make small talk. I keep it surface level. Then he leans forward and says it. I can tell people here don't really take me seriously. I just sip my coffee. He keeps going, I'm not looking for sympathy, but you know I've done bigger things than this. I've run teams, built businesses. It's hard starting from the bottom when I know I have more to offer. There it is, the ego. Still alive. I put down my cup and look him straight in the face. You told me I'd be nothing without you, over and over. You mocked everything I built until the day you needed it. So yeah, maybe it's hard, but I built this company brick by brick, and everyone who walks in that door earns their place. No shortcuts. That includes you. He doesn't say anything for a second, just nods slowly, then mutters, I never meant to hold you back. I don't reply, because yes, he did. He didn't just doubt me, he actively wanted me to fail. And when I didn't, when I started winning, he turned that into a problem too. Now he's in a seat he never respected, doing work he always looked down on, under a manager half his age, in a company run by the son he never believed in. And he's failing, quietly, slowly, every day. Update 4. Well, his performance review email came through on a Monday morning. Subject line, Q1 review. Name redacted. It went to me, Tara, his manager, and Megan from People Ops, just a standard quarterly cycle. But I'd flagged him weeks earlier, so HR had fast-tracked it, which meant this one wasn't a box-checking formality. It was a loaded meeting. Now normally, I wouldn't even be in these. I don't personally review ops-level staff. That's why we have managers. But because he was under a watch tag and tied to executive concern, they looped me in as founder. He didn't know that. We kept it all internal, quiet, professional, controlled. Tara submitted her feedback in writing ahead of time, per process. I read it twice. Struggles with taking direction from younger staff. Repeatedly questions the necessity of process steps instead of learning them. Still operating like an external consultant versus an internal team member. More concerned with being right than being useful. All facts, no fluff, no emotion, just reality. We scheduled the review for Thursday at 10 a.m. Tara would lead it. Megan would be present for HR. I'd observe silently. No dad, no son, just a room, a form, and a man who still thought he deserved better. He walked in and immediately clocked me. Tried to smile like we were about to have a catch-up. I didn't smile back. Tara started the session with an overview, thanked him for his work so far, asked how he felt about his onboarding. His answer: honestly, it's been a challenge. I think I'm still adjusting to the culture here. A lot of formality around things that, in my experience, used to just get handled more directly. Translation: I don't like being told what to do. Tara nodded, kept it calm, walked through the bullet points, brought up the missed documentation deadline, the slack tone complaint, the fact that he still hadn't fully completed his knowledge-based certification, a mandatory requirement for every ops hire. He looked stunned, not angry, stunned, like it never occurred to him that someone might actually say these things about him, like he spent so long being the one doing the evaluating that he never learned how to sit in the seat across the table. Then Megan asked if he had any questions. He paused, looked at me, then said, "Is there an opportunity to move into something more aligned with leadership? I've got ideas I think could really help this place scale." The audacity. Right there. In a review for a role he's actively underperforming in, he asked for a promotion. Before Tara could respond, I leaned forward. First and only time I spoke the whole meeting. We promote based on impact, not history, not family, just results. He didn't respond. He knew what I meant. Everyone in that room did. We ended the meeting with a 60-day performance plan, clear goals, documented deliverables, regular check-ins, no wiggle room. That afternoon, he sent me a Slack message. "Appreciate the clarity today. Let's talk soon. Maybe catch up one-on-one?" I left it on red. The next week, he started slipping even more. He showed up late once, didn't log it, left early another day for a family thing, and forgot to submit a coverage request. Tara documented both. Megan pulled me aside and asked if we should consider early separation. I said no, not yet. I want him to finish his 60 days. I want the paper trail, the missed goals, the formal flags. I want this to be airtight. I don't want to fire him out of anger. I want to fire him by the book. And just when I thought he'd finally learned to stay quiet and do the bare minimum, he made his final mistake. He cornered Tara after a team sync and said, and I quote, she typed it out word for word in her report, "You know I'm the founder's father, right?" Tried to pull rank, tried to intimidate, tried to make himself untouchable. Tara didn't even flinch, just said, "Yes, still need those onboarding summaries by EOD," and walked away. She told Megan immediately. Megan looped me in. HR started the separation process that afternoon. He still doesn't know it's coming. His exit meeting is scheduled for next Thursday, just before the 60-day mark. It'll be handled by HR, not by me. No drama, no speeches, no confrontation, just a final check-in, a form, and a message that says what he never thought he'd hear from me. "Thanks for your time. We're moving forward without you." Final update. The separation meeting was scheduled for Thursday morning, 9:30 a.m., just like any other offboarding. Standard HR protocol. One rep from People Ops, Megan. A documentation form. A pre-written termination letter citing failure to meet performance benchmarks during the probationary period. And one box for his desk belongings. I didn't attend. Not because I didn't want to. I just didn't need to. That's the beauty of doing things right. Quiet, legal, documented, no loopholes, no drama. He came in that morning thinking it was just a check-in. Wore a blazer again, even brought a folder, probably some half-baked proposal about how to improve operations with executive oversight. Megan told me he looked confused when he saw her already sitting in the room with the paperwork open. She read the form, gave him space to respond. He said nothing for a full minute, then asked, "Does OP aka me know about this?" She replied, Yes, it's been reviewed and signed. That was it. He took the folder, took the letter, signed the form, packed his desk in 12 minutes, left without saying goodbye to a single person. I watched it happen on the office cameras. No one else even noticed he was leaving. No one cared. He walked out exactly the way he walked in, thinking he was important. 2 hours later, my phone rang. My mom didn't even say hello, just launched straight into it. I just spoke to your father. He said he was fired. Tell me that's not true. I didn't dodge it, just said, he didn't pass probation. HR handled it. She got quiet. Then she said, you could have helped him. You didn't have to humiliate him like this. That's when I lost it. Not yelling, just done holding back. You think I humiliated him after years of being called a joke, after he told me I'd be nothing without him and made sure everyone else believed it too? After he mocked me in front of this whole family for starting a business? After he used his name like a sword and expected to walk in here like a king? He humiliated himself. I just made sure he was treated like anyone else. She didn't reply for a few seconds, then said, he was trying. And I said, so was I, for 20 years. Where was that energy back then? She hung up. I got a text from my sister an hour later. You really couldn't have just let him work quietly? Let him coast, undermine people, pull rank? Let him keep pretending he earned a spot he never respected? I gave him a clean slate. He trashed it. He got paid fairly, treated equally, managed professionally, and still thought he was above it. So no, I didn't make him fail. I just stopped protecting him from reality. Since then, he hasn't reached out. Neither has my mom. My sister sent a passive-aggressive recipe reel on Instagram last night. Like that counts as reconnecting. But you know who has reached out? Tara. Just yesterday. She messaged me after hearing some whispers that the guy she managed was my father. She said, didn't realize it until after he left. Just wanted to say, you handled it like a pro. Most founders wouldn't have let that play out clean. Respect. And that hit harder than any "I'm proud of you" ever could have from the man who never gave me one. This company is mine. Every brick, every win, every failure, I earned it. And now that he's gone, it feels lighter. I've still got work to do, so I am done. See y'all Reddit.